welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm doing something different than the normal Magic Online League. I'm actually playing in Ecorbaronen's Patreon 16-player double elimination tournament. This event is going to happen through the Ecorbaronen Patreon, as I mentioned, friend of the show. He invited me in as a ringer to up the stakes. The format of this event is we get paired once every week or so with somebody, and we have a week to play our match. So I will be recording this over a period of weeks or months. And it's double elimination, like I said, which means after your second loss, you're out. There's a winner's bracket, a loser's bracket, and it's just a simple double elimination bracket system. This might just be 2 matches. This might be 5 or 6. I don't know. This may never see the light of day. I might be talking to myself right now. But I decided for this, since it's a free roll and it's fun and I enjoyed this deck and my viewers enjoyed this deck, I revisited this Jace Reawakened See the Truth deck. This started as a brew challenge on my channel to do something with Jace Reawakened and Legacy. Turns out See the Truth is completely busted. Who would have thought Ancestral Recall is a Magic card worth casting? After that league, I retuned the deck a little bit. I'm down to 3 Jace, but up to 4 Snapcaster, because I wanted more closing power. I'm down to 1 Valky from 2 because drawing that's really bad. I'm up a colored source and down a wasteland. Just made some tweaks and tunes here and there from my feedback at the end of the first time I played the deck. This tournament is open list, so my opponents will know what I'm up to and I will know what they're up to. I am hoping to play against fair decks, and certain types of combo decks are fine too. Red Stompy's fine. Eldrazi is probably the worst matchup imaginable. But when I selected the deck, I didn't know what the field would be, because that's how tournaments work, and I'm going to go play these rounds for as long as they last. This is updated Esper plot control in the Ecorbaronen Patreon 16-player tournament. It's round 1, and I'm playing against Peter, who, remember in the matchup spread when I acknowledged the one matchup that would be terrible? Peter is on Eldrazi, and it is open list. He's on the colorless Grim Monolith build, not the build with a bunch of techie stuff in the main deck. But there is Sowing Mycospawn, which is bad, and I'm on the draw, which is bad, and I'm going to mulligan. All bad. This might be a short video. Okay, this has access to some stuff, and Swords of Plowshares is not bad. I could just dump the Force of Will, knowing that that's not how this matchup works. I even have Wasteland for a Cavern of Souls. Prismatic Ending is my answer to a Chalice of the Void, but so is Force of Will. But if I force, then I don't have Lorien, then I don't have white. Yeah, I'm going to bottom this Force. We're off to a tough start here. Ancient Tomb, Chalice of the Void, there it is. Now the classic issue of, do I just Wasteland them now? And I think I'm gonna. Hope you needed that Ancient Tomb. Probably didn't. They never do. Eldrazi Temple. Yep, Herald is the only card they can cast right now off of just that. Handful of 1-drops. Gonna have to cycle into a Tundra. Combat first. Cavern of Souls. Bottomed the Force. And we've got the Fleshraker right on time. Cycle for Tundra. Baleful Strix, not helpful right now. Okay, I am basically dead to a Wasteland. I'm dead to any follow-up play. I guess I have to hope their hand is just a bunch of 4-drops and no 4th mana. Well, 4th and 5th mana confirmed. In for 5. And no play. This must be Kozilek's Command. I don't believe for a second that I could be so lucky that they just wouldn't have anything to do. I'm gonna ponder. Teferi See the Truth Jace. What an embarrassing spread of cards, even though it is exactly what my deck is trying to do. I think I'm going to shuffle all of this. Ooh, I drew a Tundra. Okay. I don't play a Scrubland. Just checking. I was pretty sure I didn't. And I don't. This lets me plow the squad. If this is just a big value Kozilek's Command, I'll respond to the cast with plow on the Flesh Raker, so at least I don't take an extra pile of damage. Okay, upkeep, I'm going to plow. They didn't end step anything, which means right now is the most awkward time to make them do anything. So tapping out to get 3 extra damage here, I think is okay. I didn't want that to happen on my turn, which is why I waited, but I think it's okay right now. These are 1/2s, but I can change that. This was Scry X and make dopes. Okay, take an extra lightning bolt's worth of damage because of the timing, but they did also tap out on their turn. Went 2 top, 1 bottom, so 2 cards in hand now that they do actually want. Chalice of the Void, don't love that, but I will kill this Herald. That takes 5 power off the board. Okay, can't ponder anymore. Gonna have to Baleful Strix. And I've already used one of my precious prismatic endings. Snapcaster is in the deck in the full amount. Oh, Wasteland. Sad. I mean, that is so far off of useful, though. I'm prepared to just hit the concede button to a Swing Myco spawn at any point that happens. And Peter knows it too. He's a member of my Patreon community. He's somebody I chat with somewhat regularly, and he said my Swing Myco spawns are ready for our match as we were getting set up here. He knows exactly what card I don't want to see, and what card will send me into a full tilt monkey spiral that it even exists. The 3rd Cavern. Okay. Are we going to exile my Baleful Strix, or is this a command? All right. It is a Devourer of Destiny. My Strix is gone. Teferi Time Reveler. I mean, I could draw worse cards than that. Teferi. I think I have to bounce the Chalice. Bouncing the creature doesn't matter. Bounce the Chalice. Use the black mana to ponder. Brainstorm and some lands. I'm going to shuffle this right now. Ponder again. Committed to going to 2 life here. See the Truth in some Tamios. Gotta shuffle that. Oh, this matchup's abysmal. All right. To the sideboard we go, which is where we had to be to ever have a chance at all. Harbinger of the Seas, Consigned to Memories come in. Cards that come out. I like Prismatic Ending. Could even see an argument for Wrath of the Skies coming in. I don't think I'm going to be Pithing Needling any Wastelands. I'm built to respect Wasteland. My opponent's sideboard is 2 Dismember, 2 Disruptor Flute, 4 Leyline of the Void, 2 Mindbreak Trap, 3 Null Rod, 2 Wastegate Battle Mage. Do any of these cards come in? I guess you would bring in Flute to name Jace, maybe. Teferi's pretty bad. Force of Will's pretty bad. Dismember is going to come in to deal with my Harbingers, which then makes Force of Will a little better. I think Jace is just pretty bad here, which is awkward because that's the whole plan. I could leave some forces in if I'm willing to cut the Jace package completely. I still have Snapcaster for my See the Truths. In Tamios, fine. That's how I apply pressure, air quotes, apply pressure. I could cut Valky and 1 Jace and leave 2 Jaces in with 1 Force of Will. And See the Truth gets worse in that environment. Maybe leaving in a couple forces just to protect Harbinger from Dismember is worth doing. Okay. I have to lock my opponent out. There's no way that I can just win this game if we're both casting spells. Come on now. Mulligan this one. All right, I'll keep this. And I have to bottom one of these cards. It's probably going to be Baleful Strix. I'd love to bottom a land, but I don't know if I can afford to do that. Okay, bye Strix. I'll miss you. And Consign Snap Consign is pretty powerful in the matchup. It mulled to 6 and has a Devourer. I'm just going to Island Pass. I'm not going to fetch Meticulous Archive here, so I'll just leave it up the basic. Exiled a Myco Spawn, a Flesh Raker, and an Ancient Tomb. All those cards look good to me, which is terrifying. Disruptor Flute. If this name's Flooded Strand, I might be in the garbage. All right. I mean, that would be such a cheese way to go. Consigned to Memory. Okay, so Consigned costs a lot more now. I'm going to fetch Basic Planes. Yeah, I forgot you could just name spells with this. I mean, I know that intellectually, but I did also. It did not occur to me that Consigned to Memory costing 4 is really good against my sideboard plan. Have to tap out here because I was tapped out anyway if I let it ride. Chalice of the Void. The card's good. Consign can push through it, and I can snap ending with my next land. I can also cast this Strix. I just don't think I can afford to. Not till I have 4 mana. Glaring Fleshraker. Okay. I will consign with Replicate. This is funny. I can counter the Chalice trigger to let the original consign resolve, or I can replicate onto the Fleshraker itself, which achieves the exact same result. I really want a land here, but I also want black if I miss, so I'm not going to get Meticulous Archive. There's no Undercity Sewer in this build. I cut it for Basic Swamp. That was one of my things I missed having in the last match, or the last set with this. Okay, cool. Now I can snap Consign, or I could snap Clear Chalice and just cross my fingers for a turn. I think that's more important. Hate to do it, but I think it's right. I'm going to fetch 2 Underground Seas, so I can't get wasted off a color. Snap Ending, clear the Chalice, and now the shields are down once again. 5 mana available, including the basic. Okay, no plays. I don't for 1 second think that means they have nothing. I think that means they have Kozilek's Command and probably going to try to zoom up into Devourer of Destiny. That's a shuffle, which means I can Brainstorm. I like Wasteland. I like Tamiyo. Put back Island and one of the Lorians, I guess. I'm going to attack first before they know I can Wasteland them. And I'm going to play Wasteland and pass. We can get into a timing game. If this is Kozilek's return, or Kozilek's Command. Cool. Alright. I'm going to waste Eldrazi Temple. I want them taking damage if they're tapping mana. I'll actually just have nothing? How is this possible? Lotus Petal. That might be bad. Who's up spawning their mic? There it is. They might be in a spot here where they have to get an Eldrazi Temple or an Eye of Ugin, and this isn't actually going to be mana denial. It's still bullshit, but it's not as bad, and it's not kicked. I'm not conceding on the spot to it. Eldrazi Temple confirmed. This is bigger than Snapcaster Mage. And I do have to cycle here. And I'm going to just get Tundra, because it doesn't matter if I draw the Harbinger, having more basic islands. Well, here's this shit. Consign to Memory. I always want that. And attacking with Baleful Strix. Gotta do the damage where I can. I believe I am in a position to race. Dismember is becoming a dubious proposition right now. Didn't do anything with 5 mana 2 turns ago. Had to Lotus Petal just to Myco spawn out a land drop. So it's possible that they actually have nothing. Wow. Okay. Big news. They already know about the Tundra, so I'll play it. In for 1 and a card. We love cards. I'm going to use my clue. Ponder. Tamiyo is a full-size lady now. Unless they dismember it. Which puts you to 4. Oh, tapped and untapped a land. That's a dismember. Which means this Harbinger is more likely to survive the follow-up. Okay. Interesting. Okay, don't shuffle. Waiting for the trigger. We'll probably see dismember here. That is the correct timing. Or looting the Planeswalker side. I'm actually going to let this ride and just play Harbinger. It might still just name Consign to Memory here. You know I kept a card on top. And how clever do you want to get? Tamiyo Seasoned Scholar was the name. And still, the fact remains that Dismember would deal a lot of damage to you. But that does check a box of a card that is probably in their hand, based on how this game has gone. Yep. Alright, they're at 4. I am still attacking for damage. We know they got that Devourer. Okay, it's just playing Drago versus Eldrazi is so sick. Strix puts you to 3. Consign to Memory is back up. And the Tamiyo. And the cool thing about that Harbinger of the Seas is that is good enough that I would have kept it off Meticulous Archive. So now my opponent doesn't necessarily know that I have Consign to Memory, even though it is a reasonable. Like if I just hadn't done anything since keeping this, my opponent would just assume I have Consign, but I did something better than Consign. If they tap the Ancient Tomb for literally anything and it doesn't work, I win because I have the Strix. And most things in their deck don't work here because I have Consign. Opponent in and out of the tank on this has tapped and untapped that Ancient Tomb 3 times already this turn. No way, Jose. Cast with a Replicate just in case. And the lethal Baleful Strix, coast to coast. Okay, so we answered the question, how do we beat Eldrazi ever? If they keep all of the reactive cards from the sideboard, We saw both Disruptor Flutes and a Dismember that game. That's 3 of the 4 cards I thought would come in against me. I really don't like Force of Will, but I hate Chalice of the Void more, and the play pattern of jamming Harbinger and protecting with Force is pretty serious. I think Jace just has to go out. I might even get fully away from Jace and just max out on Force of Will, knowing that my job here is to lock them out of the game. Yuck. I would love this hand versus any normal opponent. Even Red Stompy, I have access to both my lands. I'm not that soft to Chalice of the Void. Eldrazi, though. Can't do it. Opponent kept 7. I will not. Oh my god. Alright. This is extremely risky in a variety of ways, but it also has some stuff that I like. I am in trouble to Chalice of the Void. Can I afford to go to 5? What am I even looking for if I go to 5? Okay, I am going to keep this. And I'm going to get rid of this Ponder, I think. Devourer of Destiny revealed. Exiled 2 Wastelands and a Dismember. Okay. That is a bunch of cards that I didn't want to play against, now gone. Yavimaya. My green man is online. And they pass without a play, which means Thoughtseize has a chance. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to Thoughtseize them, and then I'll get to know how to use this Wasteland. If they play Veil of Summer, I'm quitting Magic. Okay, so we've got Devour Fleshraker, K Command, Kozilek's Command. Sorry, Kolagon. Okay, so they can't cast any of the cards in this hand, but they did keep a card on top. The card on the top of their deck is probably a Soul Land. They don't have access to it yet because they're on the play. I think that they have an Ancient Tomb or a Eldrazi Temple on top of their deck right now. If it's Eye of Ugin, they could cast Sowing Mycospawn, but not any of the other cards in their hand. Mycospawn is good enough. If it's Eye of Ugin, they can play Sowing Mycospawn, get Eldrazi Temple, then play Thought-Knot Seer. Jesus Christ. I hate this deck so much. Okay. I think I'm going to take the Glaring Fleshraker as the card they're most likely to cast next turn, and hope that it's not Eye of Ugin. Cavern of Souls. That one's okay. We knew about that one. Smelled it coming. Okay, I'm going to waste the Cavern. They have colored mana anyway. Drop my Tameo. And hope that their whole draw collapses here. Well, whatever that Soul Land is they were sandbagging is in hand now. There it is. Ancient Tomb. And this lines up perfectly with the Kozilek's Command that I knew was in the hand. I don't think it's right to ever not play the Tameo. Though I have Brainstorm. I could have walked them into a flip Tameo over the top of the K Command. Disappointing. Okay. They exiled the thing and made Mycospawn. Be a great time to draw that other Wasteland in my deck right now. Consigned to memory. I'm not going to complain. Alright. Pass the turn. There's 1 unknown card in that hand. Playing out the Tameo did deny them card selection. That's a scry 1, draw 1 that they didn't get in this position where they could stumble on mana, theoretically. It could happen. There's some universe. Or they could draw Eye of Ugin and then just kick Sowing Mycospawn straight into my head. They should probably lead on Thought-Knot, though. They'll flush out any interaction. But just swing for the fences. I suppose you could. Alright, well, I have to fight the triggers. I can't beat either of these triggers. Cast with Replicate. Replicate 1 blue, and I can get a colorless off of the blue to Delta without shuffling. They're countering both triggers. They get a 3/3. Oh no, that's so close to what I want. How do I do this? Okay, I have to hide Thought-Knot or Harbinger of the Seas from Thought-Knot Seer while generating my 3rd land. Okay, I'm gonna fetch for basic island. Though that doesn't matter, I can just get Tundra. Yeah, that's the same. And if I want to be 100% sure that my plan will work, I have to Lorien Revealed first. If I want to take a reasonable shot at hitting a land naturally, I can Brainstorm. I'm going to do that. I got to take risks here. The matchup's bad. Everything's bad. That's bad. All right, everything went to shit. If I put back Prismatic Ending and Strix. Strix is how I stabilize the board, though. Prismatic Ending has to go, and fuck, I want this Lorien. Or Prismatic Ending, Lorien. I'm going to have to consign a memory this turn. So Prismatic Ending, Lorien go back. I'll pitch Baleful Strix to Force of Will. All right, yeah, I'm setting up a multi-turn situation here. And Wasteland or Cavern of Souls just kill me. I could have kept Lorien, relied on Force of Will to keep me stable this turn rather than consign. All right, I'm going to consign this while I can. Okay, Lorien revealed. Cycle this. I'll get another Tundra because it doesn't matter. Or Meticulous Archive is better. Yeah, okay. Meticulous Archive. I don't need the third Tundra. Keeping that Tundra would have played around Wasteland, but I'm not winning a game where I just resolve Harbinger anyway. I have to follow it up with more stuff because I'm currently being beat to death with a 3/3. Remember when I countered 2/3 of this card and I'm still losing to the third one? So dumb. I had a specific piece of interaction literally designed to counter this card, and it still wasn't close to good enough. This Eldrazi spawn is also a mild concern because if they can have colorless, like if this spawn is still around when my Harbinger comes down. Oh, good. Cavern. It is a turn late. But if the spawn still exists, the waste... Oh my god. Well, that was one of the best draws. Do I take a turn casting Baleful Strix? No, because that encourages them to play Devourer, and I'm down a blue card if it doesn't draw a useful one. Okay. Alright. Harbinger of the Seas is on the stack. I have Force of Will backup. I have 11 life, and I did rip my basic planes. I need Swords to Plowshares here before my life total runs out. Okay, that just resolved. They didn't float a bunch of colorless in response. Moment of truth. I didn't get dismembered. Were you sandbagging the wastes? The basic wastes for easy game. All right, beating down. Basic swamp plays here as well. It casts my Strix. Brainstorm. Let's see some cards. Lorien revealed. Ponder. I don't need this island. And I mean, I could cast Lorien revealed next turn. I take 3, go to 5, cast Lorien revealed, take 3, go to 2. Then I would have to force down to 1. I think Island and Strix are going away. Oh, this is so tough. Okay, Island, Strix. But Strix remains my blue card, son of a biscuit. Okay, I'm going to put back Island and Strix, and I'm going to cast Ponder without shuffling with Lorien first. I'm going to keep Force blue card up. Shuffle this, just see all new cards. Prismatic Ending. We're moving in the right direction. I could end the spawn. Might as well attack. Gotta win somehow. I could end the spawn, but they can cast Chalice of the Void, which is still a card I care about. Lotus Petal. That can cast Sowing Myco Spawn, and they can kick it. Can also save a damage off Dismember, but they don't care about that here. Oh my god, Sowing Myco Spawn, I hate you. Okay, it's one spot at a time. This is a lot of look at wastes, but I have to take the risk. We are getting a lot of tension out of this, even if I lose, even if it's terrible, even if I sideboarded in a card specifically designed to beat a card like this and it wasn't good enough. Ooh, speaking of not good enough. If they sack their spawn for Glaring Fleshraker, I have to force here. If my opponent has sandbagged to dismember this long, great job. You deserve the win, but I can't risk that anymore. All right, let's see the truth. Big digs, Swords to Plowshares, Swords to Plowshares. Come on, deck. Snapcaster Mage. Okay, that buys me time. Wrath. Oh no! No! I resolved it like it was Ponder. Can I Control Z this? Fuck my life. Oh no. I'm so mad right now. I clicked on the wrong card. That's devastating. Yeah, go to 1, snap, see the truth, see 3 cards, chump block. I'm 5 cards deeper to find a Swords to Plowshares. And you can't take it back either. Alright, well, if I lose to a misclick, it is what it is. Should have been thinking more about what card I was actually casting and not the muscle memory of how to resolve the cantrip I normally am casting. Peter, when you're watching this later, know what happened. Understand. Yeah, the Snapcaster line doesn't care about this Chalice either. And now, even drawing Swords to Plowshares isn't good enough. Cool. Okay, I'm not actually dead. I could Prismatic Ending, chump block, take another turn, but I'm actually dead. So, fuck. All right. While I do hate Sowing Myco Spawn, and this was miserable and this matchup's bad, losing to a misclick after doing all that work is real bad. Okay, let's look. See the Truth wouldn't have found anything. Baleful Strix. All right, I might have died anyway. I'll take the pressure off my soul, knowing that. That's that. I will be back in a week, which for you is 1 second, to play my next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in the first round of the loser bracket. My opponent is on Reanimator. I'm going to keep my hand. They are pretty close to stock blue-black Reanimator, but they have 2 Dark Rituals. All right, well, they're going for it. They have 2 Dark Rituals, 3 Brazen Borrowers, 2 Barrowgoyfs, so they are kind of heavy on the combo side. There's no Bowmaster or anything like that. And that sequencing going turn 1 was a pretty clear indication that they had days. I wonder if I'm supposed to fight over the Reanimate in this rare case that they're clearly telegraphing days. Okay, and then a Ponder. So they had a Protected Entomb on turn 1, but they either don't have the Reanimate yet or it's Animate dead, which they have 4 copies of. I'm going to get my Surveil land here. I've been given a brief reprieve to do this. Don't need a Tundra. Lorien Revealed. Okay, what's in my deck? There are 2 Thoughtseizes, so brainstorming now does make sense. Ponder, Plow. I kind of want the 3rd land. I don't need to See the Truth this early. I don't need 2 Plows. Maybe I don't need Lorien if I'm keeping the land. Okay, I'll put those back. And I could Ponder looking for a Force, or I could leave up Plow. I'm going to leave up Plow. There is another Tundra in my deck I could fetch. Or Basic Plains. My opponent has 2 Wastelands in their list. And we might have to play that control game where I Plow the Atraxa and then wade through the cards that she generates. Tundra. Having 2 Plows means if they force this one, they'd have to find another Force plus blue card off the Atraxa. Daze is, of course, miserable. They're not playing any Lotus Petals. Like, they do have a limit. All right, they pitched Murktide Regent. That's the one of their 3 alternate beaters. All right, Force blue card confirmed. Great. Atraxa is so good. So this game, if I had not fought over the turn 1 Entomb, because it's clearly telegraphing days, I could still have Force in my hand to fight this Animate dead, and then I could Plow the Atraxa. And there's also Entomb Animate dead in this hand. Oh no. I think they misclicked. Yeah, it says in the chat they chose no cards. Well, I mean, I can't scoop here. We would have had game to play. Okay, well, misclick value, I guess. If my hand was just blank, I probably would concede to this, but like, I do have another Plow to fight the Atraxa. That cost their Force blue card. If they had taken Entomb over Force or Thoughtseize over Ponder, then they wouldn't have Force blue card anyway. Ponder could dig. Like, I'm still kind of playing this game. Okay. That was awkward, but as we remember, I had a massive misclick in round 1 of this tournament. Okay. Force of Negation, Surgical Extraction. Their sideboard is a 3rd Barrowgoyf, 2 Bowmasters, 2 Voidwalkers, a potential 5-card juke. I think Bowmaster is going to come in because it is good versus my deck. I don't think Barrowgoyf or Voidwalker are particularly good, though I am playing 4 Snapcaster Mage, so we might see the Voidwalkers. The classic Consign does hit Animate Dead, but Animate Dead's probably coming out. Baleful Strix is good versus the Pivot. I think I'm going to stop on these 4 cards. And -1 See the Truth. -1 Snapcaster, just because they have the Voidwalkers that might matter. Minus Teferi, he's just not that good here. Outside of all the generically good things that Teferi does for a game. I'm thinking about shaving a Force of Will, though Prismatic Ending, I like the Plows. Prismatic Ending is good if they have all the 2-drops in, which I don't think they will. Okay, this is my plan. Oh, I have a Tormod script. Hold up, hold up. Almost missed that one. Hiding in the corner. These games are probably going to be really fast, and I can't afford a Jace early. I still have 2 Jace, 3 See the Truth, 3 Snapcaster. The engine's still online. Okay, Force Blue card, Tameo. This is good enough. Underground Sea, Ponder. My opponent's deck has 16 lands plus the trolls, the 4 trolls. I think I'm going to go for a Cheese Wasteland here. If I don't Cheese Wasteland them, then I am susceptible to a Cheese Wasteland. Okay, it just didn't do anything, that's fine. But making the game take a little longer where I could draw into more lands is useful to me. I think I should be pondering to find my lands before I get wasted out here. Entomb in response, once again, they have represented daze. Once again, I think it is correct to fight here, even if I get dazed. I'd force pitching Brainstorm. Okay, Entomb's going to happen. Now I'm looking for Force of Will, Tormod Script, Surgical, Fairy Macabre. A lot of hits here. Oh, well, there's 2 of the above. I'm going to put the Force 2 cards down, draw the Tormod Script now, and play that out. Where there are 2 counter spells and a reanimate in that grip. Oh, they've tapped out. All right. Well, that was a quick one, and I am still playing this tournament. There will be a round 3.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw for round 3 versus Dave Kaplan, who is a New York area Legacy and Vintage guy. He's got at least 1 Eternal Weekend top 8. He's on stock Teamer Delver. His flex slots are a Chain Lightning and a Preordain. He's got 3 Delvers, 4 DRCs, 3 Murktides, 3 Questing Druids. This is the type of matchup I'm looking for with my deck. I want to play fair. I want to have more cards than you. Swords to Plowshares, Prismatic Ending, Baleful Strix to Fairy, all insane in a matchup like this one. I just have to get into the mid-game with sufficient life total and lands to cast spells. And when your Delver opponent leads on Ponder instead of any 1-drop creature, it is just such a breath of relief. Now Daze is easier to play around for the whole game. Just this open, of the 12 1-drops in their deck, I guess 13 in Dave's because of Preordain, 8 of them are annoying, and 5 of them are like, oh, thank God. I have access to basic plains, basic island with my hand. No access to swamp currently for this Strix. It's going to be great when I find it. My opponent has 15 total ways to win the game, which it might seem aggressive or optimistic to think about it in terms of that, but that is actually how you have to think about Delver when you're one of these hard control decks. If I can literally kill all of the Delvers, DRCs, and Murktides and Questing Druids, then I win. It's that simple. Here we go, DRC, Bauble. His Ponder last turn did not shuffle, pinning a Lightning Bolt. Taking a look at the top card of my deck, that will not be there when we get to my turn. Wasteland. Played around it. End step, fetch Plains. Cycle Lorien revealed, get Island. I do have 1 basic swamp in the list. Drawing another Plow, so cracked. I'm going to Plow around Daze, and then I'm going to Ponder. And if he wants to Daze my Ponder, that's fine. See the Truth, Tameo, Jace. I don't actually want any of these cards. I would really just like my 3rd land. And shuffle another black spell. Cool. When I find that polluted delta, boy, am I ready. Brainstorm. Just reminding myself what my mana base is. There are 4 deltas. That's good. 2 Cs, no scrubland. There's a polluted delta. I'm pretty jealous. Another Channeler. This one is Delirious. Additional Delirium provided by the Mishra's Bauble. Dumped another Bolt. And this is an interesting texture to the matchup because the bolts matter a lot in the late game. If he can chip shot me down to like 7 life, Bolt becomes a big part of the game plan if I otherwise have control of things. but he's milled over 2 of them in the early game to find the creatures to get me to the lower life total. Just going to plow here. A little worried about my hand at this point, but I'm still at 19 life, and I did that damage to myself. If he plays a Murktide, I will Force of Will it, regrettably. I hate 2-for-1ing myself ever against Delver, but some cards demand it. Shuffled that Ponder. Oh wow, no play. This is where I draw Polluted Delta and pull ahead. Okay, I've got a Wasteland. I could just try a Teferi here. It might get dazed, but how good is any of this ever going to be? Alright, yeah, I'll just try this Teferi. It'll at least demand an answer. And if it somehow resolves, it's just gravy. And if he forces this, I might force back. I probably won't force a daze. Hardcast daze, you got me. I'll flush that out, that's fine. I really can't afford to pitch one of my powerful cards here to lose a second card to a daze. That is one of my answers to Murktide gone. Wasting my Wasteland. That's why I went with the Teferi so aggressively into the daze, because I knew I wasn't going to have 3 mana on my next turn. Ponder, set me free. Polluted Delta. Basic Swamp. I'll even take an Underground Sea at this point. Okay, we're seeking a Beast in response. I could force this. I think I'm going to. This is worth a lot of cards. And Baleful Strix can answer Murktide. Hey, there's my Basic Swamp. And there's my Polluted Delta. Okay. Basic Swamp into the Grip. And now I'm going to Thoughtseize my opponent's 2-card hand. Hopefully take a Murktide out of it. What you working with? Force of Will, Lightning Bolt. Okay, I'm not going to take this Force of Will. Opponent's really running on fumes over there. Time for my deck to kick in. I've done everything I'm supposed to do against Delver. Dragon's Rage Channeler resolves. I could snap Plow, or I could just put Murktide in front of this thing. Or, I mean, Baleful Strix. Yeah, I think I'm going to save my snap Plow for a Murktide. Play Strix, draw Delta, play Delta, pass. My Meticulous Archive is online now. There's no Wasteland in sight. This thing has to attack. He's not playing a Thundering Falls, so no value out of these fetches coming. Wasteland. Alright, Meticulous Archive got worse, and Force of Will is on. Block. I think I'm still going to get Meticulous Archive. Or I could play on basics. This doesn't actually matter that much. And I am drawing Wild here. Alright, yeah, I'll just draw a card. Why do anything reckless? If I Thoughtseize the Force of Will, then there's no reason for him to hold the Wasteland anymore. I could also just wait on the Thoughtseize forever. Alright, I will Thoughtseize. I don't think he's going to hold cards in hand in the future. Like, we're basically in necessary top deck mode. And I'll play out this Underground Sea, and if he just wastes me willy-nilly, I'll get Meticulous Archive, but I would like to get Meticulous Archive, and then that's something I get to do. Murktide Regent. I held on to the Snapcaster for exactly this moment. I'm going to fetch first, see if I just find, like, Baleful Strix or some hilariously positive interaction rather than losing Snapcaster over it. Okay, the Wasteland happened. I'm archiving in response. Don't want this Tundra. I do want this blue mana. Snapcaster. Okay. Target Plow. He said something about should have wasted before playing his Murktide, and this will probably lose him the game, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I just, Murktide in my main phase. Oh, okay, here we go. Or Snap in my main. Alright, I will draw a card and discard a card. Sucks that Tamiyo went away, but getting some loyalty on my Jace is part of the end game. And now it's a top deck mode. If he just, like, rips another Murktide right now, or Seek the Beast, I'm in some trouble. If he flounders at all, I start to do great. Oh my god! I would like to plot a card. How about Valky? God of Lies. Just right off the tippity top. I could have plus Jace last turn to not plot a card, and then I don't have to loot away the Tamiyo, but I do use my graveyard. A Brainstorm from 2 cards in hand. Oh, the best outcome for him here is like Force Blue card. Wasteland, the 3rd. That's gone. Can't have Force Blue card. Could have Force of Negation. Now can't have anything and just going to die to Tybalt. And I drew Prismatic Ending. LMAO. Alright, Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter. Let's put that on the stack. And exile the top card of each player's library. Because I have the Prismatic Ending, I'd rather just start accruing card advantage and ramping up my Planeswalker. Okay, he's had enough. Sweet. That was a textbook example of how this deck operates versus Delver. Here we've got Hydroblast coming in. Wrath of the Skies, reasonable. Opponent's sideboard includes Counterbalance, 3 Pyroblast, 2 Force of Negation. As cards that might actually come in, there's also like Grafdigger's Cage, Meltdown. And he might try to cage my Snapcasters. I do play 4 of them. I don't know if that's good, but he might try it. Harbinger of the Seas is interesting. I don't think it's good, but it doesn't have a basic mountain. I don't think Harbinger's good, but let's see what this looks like. Thoughtseize is medium. Getting one look at their hand in a game and planning out what they've got is enough for me. I don't want to do it twice. Like we saw that last game, the first Thoughtseize cleared the way for Strix, and the second one was just like, I'll take this card, I guess. Force of Will, 2 for 1. Don't like 2 for 1-ing myself. Tormod's Crypt is interesting. 3 Murktides, 4 DRCs. I don't think I'm going to bring in Tormod's Crypt versus Delver when I have so much weight removal in my deck. Now my options are cut more forces for Harbinger of the Seas, or just don't bother with that. And I think I'm not going to bother with that, because if my See the Truth engine kicks in, then I'll have plenty of cards to push to force, and it's less painful. I think Needle on Wasteland is something I could do, but I play 4 basics for a reason. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. I am largely pre-boarded for a matchup like this one. No access to basic planes, but I do have Island Swamp Baleful Strix. Like Island Tameo Swamp Baleful Strix is a strong open here. And like playing into Daze, Bolt, Pyroblast, whatever, I have spells I want to tap out for basically the foreseeable future. So I'm just going to run out the Tameo. And if he doesn't answer it immediately, I have the Brainstorm to Ninja Flip it. Well, it didn't die immediately. Brainstorm. Okay, I don't think he has the answer to Tameo, or at least didn't before the Brainstorm. Because if he cut all his bolts, because I'm a control deck, a card like Tameo just sneaks under the radar. But he's got 3 Pyroblasts, and I'm sure they're all in. Fetching here. We got a Chain Lightning. So if Chain Lightning's still in, then he didn't cut all his bolts. You would cut Chain Lightning before you cut bolts. So they're probably all still in, would be my educated guess. I could just deploy Strix, or I could try to hit my next land drop with Brainstorm, or I have my next land drop with Lorien. How do I want to do this? I think I'm just going to play Strix. I mean, Daze is annoying, but Force of Will is a 2 for 1, and any sequence of Baleful Strix resolving will result in a 2 for 1. The only 1 for 1s he can get off of Baleful Strix are Daze It, but then it costs him a land drop, so it's like not really a 1 for 1. Alright, Daze did happen. And hardcast Pyroblast, or I guess you always hardcast Pyroblast, but Pyroblasting it on the stack is how you dodge getting 2 for 1 there. Okay, it's turn 3. There hasn't been a creature in play, and I haven't taken any damage. Dragon's Rage Channeler time. Bobble. Will give it Delirium. And bobbling me. Did you see a basic planes? You did see a basic planes, that's fun. Okay, time to Brainstorm. Hydroblast, we love it. Hate Valky. And Lorien Revealed could get me white, but I'm not sure that I need white here anymore. Yeah, I think I'm going to put away Valky and Wrath, and then just play Hydroblast. And I'll probably blast DRC in their upkeep. There are no Spell Pierces or Flusterstorms anywhere in this list. It would have to be Pyroblast. Doing this in the upkeep gives him a potential Surveil to fix a draw if he chooses to fight over this, but giving him a draw gives him an extra card to fight over it with, and I'd rather just make it more likely dead. And I'm going to cycle Lorien Revealed for a Tundra this turn. Okay. Force pitching Daze. This Dragon's Rage Channeler is worth 2 cards to my opponent right now. That's exciting. I can snap Hydroblast. If he jams Murktide right now, I'm going to have to solve some problems. But snap Hydroblast just sends another round of answers at it. I am not going to draw the Wrath, hoping to 2 turns from now kill this Dragon's Rage Channeler. That's too late as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Delta. I have so many lands here. It's time to Brainstorm. This opens up Daze on my Snapcaster. Maybe I'm supposed to wait. Maybe he seeks the Beast in response. Maybe I'm supposed to land drop first. Yeah, I think I messed up this turn somehow. Whether it's play the land first so I can fight over Seek the Beast, or don't Brainstorm. Those are both reasonable takes. He doesn't have Pyroblast unless he just drew it because he used a Force on a blue spell last turn. Okay, Force of Negation. He pitched a Daze to Force last turn. I'm going to play Polluted Delta here. And do I wait? I go to 12 if I wait. Potentially untaps into Pyroblast, which, again, would have to have recently come up with. Ponder. Okay, you can bin for DRC here. And I feel like I'm falling behind a bit here, but I am going to be patient. Shuffle to Ponder. Yeah, losing to Daze in this spot when otherwise most things are reasonable for me to wade through is not something I want to be into. I'm going to get Meticulous Archive. Get that selection. Prismatic Ending, let's go. Patience rewarded. He knows every card in my hand except for Snapcaster right now. And the Prismatic Ending I'm about to cast. Okay. There's no good answers to this. Would have to force it. And if he seeks the Beast in response, I'm going to Hydroblast that. I'm going to let him Surveil first, so he doesn't know he's not getting a Seek the Beast. I kept a card on top. Snap Hydroblast. Counter target spell if it's red. Counter Seek the Beast. Remove DRC. Still, like a Murktide or a Questing Druid is a big deal here, as I'm not ready to deal with them. Mishra's Bauble. That just came out of nowhere. He bobbled me. I'm not going to fetch that away. Having the fetch land up in case I find something, a Brainstorm or Ponder, is worth so much more than him having one card's worth of info. Though if he taps out from Murktide here, looks like he tapped mana and then changed his mind. Okay, it wasn't Murktide. What are we doing? Oh, just Brazen Borrower in creature mode. Okay. One of the forces that was still in my deck was the draw. I'm going to play out Tundra so I can force through a Daze. And now we're in a damage race that I'm losing, but it's not Murktide. That's my problem now. And I need a Plow, a Teferi, a Baleful Strix. So many cards in my deck are good here. Plow would be ideal because I could protect it with Force of Will. More counterspells. Good news. A Borrower coming in puts me to 5. Bonus got 3 cards in hand. That's a lot. I can't afford to counter this Ponder as much as I'd like to. Counterspell is efficient interaction, though. If my opponent sets up like a Pyroblast, like Counterspell Pyroblast to protect this Brazen Borrower, that's something I can outmaneuver with Counterspell that I might not be able to outmaneuver with Force. Did not shuffle Ponder. Come on, deck. Brainstorm. Set me free. Fix everything. This is exactly the spot where Counterspell is great and Force of Will is bad. All right, Brainstorm in response. He's looking for a Pyroblast or a Force here, or a backup threat. Your Brainstorm resolves. My Brainstorm's back on the stack. Force of Negation, spent 2 cards on that. Counterspell. Now Brainstorm's got to do the work to see the truths. Oh my god. Well, I'll put back Force and Flooded Strand. I'll take a Dangerous Fetch down to 4. I'm going to see the truth, and I'm not going to resolve it like Ponder. Oh shit, that doesn't work. Alright. They still have white up, which is the important color. Swords to Plowshares. Snapcaster Mage. Valky, see the truth. I guess I'll take Snapcaster here. And I will try to win this game at 1 life. Snapcaster can deal with Brazen Borrower, but I'm dead to every Lightning Bolt, of which we're fairly confident he's still playing all of them. Unless he values the sorcery on Chain Lightning over some number of instant speed bolt. Now I need 2 removal spells. There's 1. Okay, Snap, Ending. I do lose to Daze here. I could see the truth, look for a more efficient piece of interaction. Okay, Snapcaster, target Prismatic Ending. End the Brazen Borrower, white, black, blue. Hydroblast. Is Daze the last card in your hand? Alright. A tight one. Okay. Am I making any changes? This Tormod's Crypt is calling to me like the Green Goblin Mask. I'm not sure. I don't think I want it, but I'm just saying it's calling to me. Like, I could play a Tormod's Crypt over one of the Jaces. It doesn't do anything till turn 4, and it's highly susceptible to Pyroblast. Alright. Tormod's Crypt is in. Let's go. And that's what a game looks like, where you draw 0 Swords to Plowshares. If I just had 1 Plow kicking around in the graveyard, then Daze is a blank. I still have to turn it around from 1 life, which is dubious, but Plow is the best card in my deck. Ask and ye shall receive. I'm going to keep this hand in game 3 that has 2 Plows and my more important basic lands available. Island, Ponder, keep. Some things never change. I don't want Force of Will. I do want Snapcaster Mage. Okay, Force of Will, Snapcaster, Tormod Script. I think I'm just going to put this Tormod Script into play and make him work around it the whole time. Island, Ponder. Did not shuffle. Flooded Strand. And I'm going to Brainstorm now while it's Daze Proof. I don't want this Jace, and I don't want this Force. That is perfect. Found the 3rd land, get to shuffle away the bad ones. Channeler. I'm going to fetch basic planes in my upkeep. Planes, draw. The 3rd Plow. Okay. We have seen Force of Negation in his deck. I'm going to Plow in the upkeep. That's gone. I do need to find a card advantage engine. Going 1 for 1 forever against this opponent isn't going to be great. I hope this works, because I don't want to play against that card. Alright, hard mode activated. Teferi? Wasteland. Alright. I don't think I'm going to waste my opponent. There's not that many 3-mana plays I care about. And Wasteland could represent extra X on a prismatic ending to get a weird mana value on counterbalance without adding any extra colors. Wastelanding the Trop when it shows up cuts off 3 of his win cons. Grafdigger's Cage. Alright, well, that answers the question of, did he bring in Grafdigger's Cage? I guess I will snap Brainstorm in response. He's got 2 chances here to counter it with counterbalance. Dragon's Rage Channeler on top of the deck. So I will not be casting Brainstorm. Yep, every spell in my graveyard costs 1. Oh, his life total just changed and went back up. So he has Force and a blue card. Okay, target, Brainstorm, even though none of this is going to work. Okay. And you could fetch to shuffle that away, but now the cage is in play and it doesn't matter. Let's see how much damage this little Snapcaster can do. Tamiyo, can't cast that right now. Saving this Wasteland for the Trop. There are no other targets. Seek the Beast. Okay, this will clear the 1-drop from the top of the deck, but that just makes it accessible. It was Trop DRC. There's the Trop. I'm just going to waste this Tropical Island immediately. He'd have to daze his own Questing Druid to save it. The Questing Druid resolves. And going to try a Swords to Plowshares. You know he's got Force in hand. And Counterbalance still active. Deck full of 1s. Please miss, please miss. A Daze, okay. That means it'll cost extra cards to protect this. Still has that Force, that Magic Online. Like, you can't actually bluff having Force on Magic Online if your life total changes on the UI. You might be able to click on it without a blue card. I don't know what order it starts paying costs in. That might be a trick you can do. Okay, there's the Force, pitching Daze. Daze on top of the deck, Daze in exile. He does have a shuffle available to him with the Polluted Delta, so he's not going to be drawing this Daze, and might still counter a Plow, which means I'm going to lead my turn off with Tamiyo. Oh, I should have cryptid in response here. Okay. Got away with it. I was worried about Murktide Regent. And now he gets to set up the top of his deck. I'm in some trouble. This counterbalance is doing the most, as it tends to do. The spicy one of. He's also at 4 minutes on his clock to my 12. I don't want to win a match like this by clock. That just sucks. We're also just playing in challenge mode, so he could have set the clocks to 50 minutes per person and didn't. Okay, something that doesn't cost 1 would be great. Not that, though. All right. I'll try a Tamiyo. Very likely to get countered, but I have to know. Yep, fuck. Ponder on top of the deck. Ponder. In response, I'm going to Plow, Questing Druid, and Moment of Truth, where there are 2 1s on that Ponder. Like, this top card is known right now. Declined the counterbalance, so Druid's gone. And DRC, now Tormod Script is doing something. DRC has to attack, which means I can crypt and then block. Okay, combat, crypt you, block. Okay, back to garbage mode. What's the last card in your hand? The Ponder shuffled, so could be anything. All right. Hope it's not a 2-drop. On top, here I go. Trying to see the truth. Drawing a land. And this is a wide open opportunity to resolve Tameo. I mean, Daze, Bolt, Pyroblast are all live here, but at least it doesn't get counterbalanced. Okay, Daze. Would have played around that if not for counterbalance, but obviously. Scalding Tarn being drawn, and any fetch land has value when you have counterbalance because you can remove cards you don't want on top anymore. I'm going to save that Black Source. That delays Force of Will by a turn, but plays around Wasteland on cards like Baleful Strix that I care about. Alright, now I have Force Blue card. The two forces that are still in my deck. We're both just draw going here. Snapcaster is something I can cast. Could literally put it on the stack. Ponder, go ahead. I think with Wrath of the Skies and Prismatic Ending in my deck, I'm not just going to run out Ambush Viper and try to attack for 20. Okay, here we go. Something to cast. It did just Ponder. Floated a 2. That was good. Maybe I'm supposed to wait until Ponder's totally random. Alright, I don't care about Seeking Beasts because they can't play the Druid. Like, the drop is not only dead, it's in exile. They had Force of Will and the other Seek the Beast. The Force of Will might still be good, though. Alright, it will at least cost you a blue card from your hand to fight over this, but exiling that Force... And there, it could also hit Force on counterbalance. Place them. Alright, Brainstorm on top. But has a blue card to pitch. I saw the life total change. Okay. Race is on. Still have removal in my deck. Jace Reawakened. Let's fire it in, sure. Top of the deck's a 1, but it's a really good one. And I think I'd rather loot than plot, because Snapcaster's not doing much here. Draw and discard. I don't need Underground Sea. Pass. Go and face. No respect for my powerful Jace. Brainstorm. I think he's going to time out here, and I don't think that is unfair to do. Okay, I'm going to exile Grafdigger's Cage, and I'm going to pay 3 to do it. X is 2, mana value's 3. The only 3 drops in the deck are Force of Negation and Brazen Borrower. Alright, and I am going for the Cage. Under the Gun from Murktide, I can't afford to go for the counterbalance. This costs 3. Good hardcast Force of Negation from hand. I think he's out of lands to hardcast Force of Will. The Scalding Tarn is a blank. Yeah, there's 4 Volks, Island, and Trop. Oh god, Force of Negation was actually the top card. Outrageous. Okay, draw and discard. Guess I'm casting this Ponder now. That's some skilled stacking from the counterbalance. He's gotten, what, 4 or 5 cards off of this? And has to different Force of Negation from hand. Alright. Jace has provided multiple cards worth of selection and value here. But with 27 seconds on his clock, he has to keep attacking me. Alright, I'm gonna plot this See the Truth. I think I gotta overwhelm my opponent all in one turn. I lose to Lightning Bolt, but I think I'm losing this game anyway if I don't take a big swing. Force of Negation is in hand. Counterbalance still in play. Wow. Thoughtseize to 1. I think it's worth it. Thoughtseize you. And I'm dead to Lightning Bolt anyway. I know this Force of Negation is going to beat me. Land on top. Brainstorm, Force of Negation. Have to take the Force. And then I'm going to See the Truth from exile. It gets a shuffle here, like a blind shuffle that doesn't get a land. Didn't try to Brainstorm to fix this. Oh no! I'm at 1! I still have a loot, but I can't cast this Baleful Strix unless I draw Swamp exactly. Damn, that was so tight. 1 more life, and I get this. Alright, I'll just fetch. You win. Okay. I think if I made him go to his turn, he would actually run out of time, but dead. GG's. And that is the conclusion of this. That's enough to get a video out of. We got some good games. This deck is fun. I would not take it to Eternal Weekend, but a fun little tournament like this, something like FNM, if you are just a sicko for the grind, this deck is pretty sweet. I do like its general position against people trying to play fair. I don't like it versus Eldrazi, basically. I think we're solid against combo, and there's not much you can do against Eldrazi as a deck that's trying to play more than 3 turns and get value over time. That's just not a thing you're allowed to do in the format with Sowing Mycospawn legal. But as far as a kind of fun control deck that seems like it has viability, this is not embarrassing. Ecorbaronen, thank you for hosting this league challenge for your Patreon. Anyone who wants to get in the next one, go check out that from him. And everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out my Patreon, and I'll see you next time.